Welcome to the Florence Biennale. My name is Beddru and I'm an Italian artist. I originally come from Sicily, but I've been living abroad for several years. I currently live and paint in Brussels, in Belgium, which is the heart of Europe. Belgium has resulted in being, for me as an artist, a perfect platform to participate in several major art events in important art markets like Germany, the UK and France. But today I'm very happy to display my work at the Florence Biennale within such a wonderful city and within such a wonderful location like Fortezza da Basso. I have the chance of having already gallery representation in several European countries, but also in the US, which has made things a bit easier in order to connect myself with the theme of this edition, which is sustainability. Being sustainable means for an artist, on one hand, to produce something that has a message, something that brings innovation, but something that also allows the artist to live of his art. I've been trying my very best, and the Florence Biennale is a premium window, and I will explain in a little while why. Let me start by presenting the three works of this year. So the central work and the small one, they are part of the same series, which is called Enigma. I decided to dedicate the entire series to female characters. Why did I do such a thing? It's very easy because as an artist I feel somehow the responsibility of projecting into my paintings things that I see in my daily reality. And what I see in today's life is that probably we are still lacking recognition towards the multiple roles that females they have been playing in society. So I wanted to bring my contribution to rebalance this effort, and the entire series is exploring, for example, the relationship between mother and daughter, or the relationship and the cooperation between women. Too often we hear, for example, that women cannot work together, which is absolutely untrue for me. The central piece is called The Fish Seller, and in this work I wanted to depict the concept of hard work in order to sustain a family. It's a true story about a woman who was catching the fish and selling the fish to sustain her family. On this side we have another series. There are two divers. The title of the work is L'été indien, and there are people diving in the entire series. After painting the first piece I asked myself, why are you painting this type of position? The answer that I gave myself is that the sea becomes the metaphor of pleasure. When I go back to my island, Sicily, in the few seconds I dive in the clear water, this allows me to touch somehow the concept of lightness, the concept of freedom, and this is what I want to bring into my pieces. Then the form of pleasure that the sea represents is something that I leave completely freedom to decide to the collector. From a technical perspective, what I did was diving into the rich heritage that we have in Italy. So I took a reverse painting technique from both French and Italian painters of 1600. Basically I paint in negative, and then I overlap the panels that I use, which are in alternative materials. I don't paint in canvas anymore. I paint on plexiglass, on metal and on wood. And by assembling these different panels, the paintings have a 3D effect, which is something that somehow seduces me, and which is a surprising element for the observer once you are in front of the artwork itself. Why did I decide to come to the Florence Biennale? First of all, because this event is a premium window to exhibit the efforts that an artist we do efforts for several months, and this is the way we want them to be enjoyed by a public. The public is somehow also a public of specialists, and I like the fact as well that the curator, for example, of this exhibition is a female and not a male, which is in full alignment with the message of my Enigma series. Also, what I like is the fact that besides the presentation of the artworks, the Florence Biennale has become an opportunity for the artists to gain knowledge, to empower themselves. So, as an example, yesterday I really enjoyed a conference about sustainability and creativity in art, where some excellences of the world of art in Florence and abroad shared with us a lot of insight. It's a very important point, because as artists we need to be also, in order to be sustainable, business oriented, and so seeing this perspective was very enriching for me. If I had to suggest someone to apply for the next edition, this would be for basically some simple reasons. First of all, because Florence is an unparalleled art city. And then also because in the audience, the artists, we have the opportunity to speak, for example, with galleries. So this is what happened to me on the opening night. A gallery from Spain approached me and we are discussing future projects together. And then also because for me Italy means somehow bringing some awareness in an art market that probably is a bit less aware of what I create in art. If I had to choose a word in order to define the Florence Biennale, this would be surely value change. And it's a way of bringing opportunities to artists, creating a market that is profitable for both parties, and also liaising the artist with specialists in art. I had the chance to speak to a professor from Japan, to galleries, also to the president of Palazzo Spinelli, who presented a set of very, very important points in yesterday's conference. So I applied for the 2019 edition.